know it won't be long. The different paths we walk will cross again. To wait I must, and day by trust. The rain will cease before I rust, and we can retrace all of our footprints in the sand. Birds flew high, a sapphire sky.
Well, thanks for tuning in. This is Matt Santos of The Mile High Show. You're listening to episode 215. We are handing the mics over again to Jim Sobo of the Howling Coyote Tour for the Howling Coyote Radio Hour. Marko Donnelly, local artist and musician, and Candace McNulty, a musician that is just an incredible treasure to the Prescott, Arizona area. Both of them, actually, all three of them. They are taking over, so sit back and enjoy their conversation and some live music right here at Mark's Beer Garden on Swenson Street in Prescott, Arizona. Links are in the show notes. Just a couple of quick notes before I turn it over to Jim. This show is brought to you by Alvarez Tire in Chino Valley, where they got us back on the road this week for a fraction of the cost of what we are going to pay anywhere else. AlvarezTire.net is where you can find out information on them, or give them a call. 928-636-1771. Alvarez Tire, 1574 South Highway 89 in Chino Valley. And, you know, there's enough food to go around. There's enough places to go eat to go around. We are, of course, recording right here at Mark's Beer Garden in Prescott, Arizona. But we are brought to you today by Big Daddy E's Barbecue, BDEBBQ.com, also in Chino Valley. The best food, the best music, the best folks right there at Big Daddy E's Barbecue in Chino Valley. One more sponsor for this week's episode, where we are heading this week. We are out of town recording a live podcast at the Big Pine Comedy Festival in Flagstaff, Arizona. BigPineComedyFestival.org is where you can find out schedules and ticket information and pass information. It runs from September 18th through 22nd. Again, the Big Pine Comedy Festival in Flag. Get a load of this lineup. Jim Brewer of Saturday Night Live fame, Jackie Fabulous, Tony Baker, Andy Steinberg of the Steinberg and Spears podcast, Michael Longfellow, great comic from right here in Phoenix, currently residing in L.A., a veteran now of the Conan O'Brien Show, Jamie Kennedy of the Jamie Kennedy Experience and the Comedy Store in L.A., the fantastic Jill Kimmel, Miss Pat. If you don't know Miss Pat, Ari Shaffir's Storyteller Show, this is not happening. Find Miss Pat, the best storyteller in the nation. Bruce Jingles, Ari Manis, Greg Romero Wilson, Kat Alvarado, just to name a few. Hundreds of comics from around the country and around the state of Arizona are descending on the high country at Flagstaff, Arizona this week for the Big Pine Comedy Festival, where we, the Mile High Show, are another featured podcast, another this year. We're doing it again. We were there the last few years. It is a blast. BigPineComedyFestival.com. Now, right now, Jim Sobo of the Howling Coyote Tour takes over again for episode 215. Sit back and enjoy.
Birds flew high, a sapphire sky.
Okay, welcome to episode 215. This is Jim Sobo with the Howling Coyote Radio Hour. This show is very special. We are recording this show live from Mark's Beer Garden. And we actually have Mark here as well. Mark, hello. How are you?
How's it going, Jim? Jim, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Excellent. I'm fantastic. Thank you so much. So this is kind of an experiment. We've been recording many of these shows from our home studio. And this week's show is featuring Mr. Marko Donnelly and Miss Candace McNulty. And hello, Candace.
Hi, Jim. Good to be here.
Hello, Marko.
Hello.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to record live from Mark's Beer Garden. We're going to play some music. We're going to talk about music and talk a little bit about Mark's Beer Garden and why we do this show here for the Howling Coyote Tour. The Howling Coyote Tour takes local singer-songwriters on the road every summer and showcases them in the San Francisco Bay Area. and this is my 14th year doing so. And the only time you get to see it other than on the road is here at Mark's Beer Garden in Prescott, Arizona. We are off of Iron Springs Road. What's the address here, Mark?
It is 1590 Swenson Street.
Swenson Street. So that's right off of...
right off Iron Springs near the Dry Gulch Steakhouse.
Dry Gulch Steakhouse.
And right across the street from Pop's Music as well.
Excellent, excellent. And the reason why I chose Mark's is because I love the property, and Mark was so kind as to reopen a dying property and reinvigorate it with his smoked meats and German beers on tap and several different microbrews on tap, including a full bar. Plenty of sports to be had, trivia. There's just a ton of stuff that goes on.
A great patio area to hang out and watch some live music on.
Absolutely. We have out during the summertime, there's an outdoor stage. And in fact, we have an outdoor cash bar now here.
That's correct.
And there's cornhole and darts. And there's a dart league here also.
Dart leagues, lots of good stuff.
Yeah.
Trivia, mostly live music, but we do a couple other things too.
Yeah. And so, Mark, I'm going to interview you for a second.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So how long had you been in Prescott before you saw this property and this opportunity?
Actually, I was traveling when I saw this property was up for lease. It had been Addictions Bar and Grill before, and before that, the Black Hole Beer Company. And I was coming out. I've been in the beer industry for a while. I've worked for breweries, worked for distributors, been a bartender. And I was kind of fed up with working the 70 hours a week as a bartender and not owning a place, so I thought I would kind of explore. And my parents had recently moved to Las Vegas, and my sister was in Mesa. And I was just exploring the state and found this property and thought, man, I could make that work. That looks great.
Right. And you know what's so great about Mark's is that Mark is owner-operator and Mark is here. Okay, it says Mark's Beer Garden, and you come inside and you can actually see Mark. There's a lot of folks that have come to this town, invested in this town, and just kind of are silent partners and never really put their heart and soul into it. And I think that local Prescottonians can tell the difference between something that is more hands-off and something that's more hands-on in regards to pride of ownership and having some heart and soul behind an actual business concept.
Right.
So that's what I really appreciated. I also appreciate the fact that it's not in the downtown area. In Prescott, we have an area here called Whiskey Row, and Mark's is off of the row, and it's more of a neighborhood over here, and that's what it feels like too. It feels like
definitely a neighborhood spot. Like most
yeah.
of the faces in here are faces I see all the time, and it's good to see new faces because I know usually I'm going to see them again.
Were you a brewer also, or?
I did. I worked for a small brewery in Mississippi for a time called Lazy Magnolia Brewing Company. It was the oldest brewery in Mississippi. I think it's 15 years old now.
Wow.
Since Prohibition, yeah. There were some laws on the books there that prevented a little bit of work being done. But, yeah, certainly. Kiln, it's on the Gulf Coast. It's, I would say, 45 minutes east of New Orleans on I-10.
I spent some time in Columbus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for the Columbus Post-Dispatch for a couple of years.
There you go.
That was Matt Santos, ladies and gentlemen, who operates MileHighShow.com, who does his own podcast. And thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt, for letting me have my podcast on your stream. So that's fascinating. Mississippi.
Right. I lived in Mississippi. They start everybody off in production. Wow. But then they told me I speak Yankee very well, so they sent me to Texas. And I didn't tell anybody in Texas that. I don't think they would have appreciated it.
To Austin, or?
I moved to Fort Worth.
Okay.
I sold my footprint was more than just Texas, but Fort Worth was home base because it was so close to the airport.
Oh, great. Okay. Excellent. All right. And then you smoked some darn good meat.
That is correct. I like to think so.
How long have you been doing that for?
Since a little bit after we opened. We had a little bit of a hiccup getting started because we were smack dab in the middle of a burn ban, and I had a pellet smoker, so it was a no-go until monsoon started last year. But since then, we've been up and going. We do a killer pulled pork sandwich, good nachos, And we also, now we're doing a chicken drumstick special on football nights. It's been going over really
beautiful.
well.
And those are smoked?
They are.
Yeah, everything is smoked.
Yeah. Yeah. They say when all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail, but nobody's complained yet.
And no, it's fantastic. And you use a couple different kinds of wood, right?
That's correct. We use hickory, pecan, and apple.
Apple. Wow. And you can taste it. I'm a foodie, and it's good eating. So
thank you.
There's a lot going down here. It's just a wonderful place. Good food, good people, good spirits, great beer. So please do come on down to Mark's. Mark, would you like to add anything else? I know that your time
you
is
forgot
precious.
Great music. That's why you're here. So but thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely. And contact info. Do you have a website?
Yeah. You can find us marksbeergarden.com, and you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. The best way to get a hold of us for anything for like special events is through the Facebook Messenger.
And for people to check out the different events that go on, the best place to go to
I would recommend the website, but primarily Facebook. We have that up to date.
Okay, great. Excellent. Well, come on down to Mark's and actually see Mark. It's
All right.
crazy. You can actually see the owner-operator here. It's nuts.
See the Mark in his natural
habitat. Mark's Beer Garden. There's actually a guy named Mark that actually works here. It's crazy. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate
really
it.
Appreciate you. All right, well, let's get back to the music, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we are here. So, next show, Howling Coyote Tour here at Mark's Beer Garden is going to be Friday, this upcoming Friday, the 20th of September. Time is flying right now, and we are featuring Ms.
Ms. Thunder.
Ms. Candace McNulty and Mr. Marko Donnelly. So, ladies first.
You know, I'd like to always arrange to have a peal of thunder before anybody says my name. That just happened.
Yes, we are doing this from Prescott, Arizona. Prescott is lucky enough to be part of the monsoon season that comes in from the Gulf of Mexico because we live in a Sonoran desert area. We get the monsoons, and there's not too many places in the country where there are monsoons, so we're having a little bit of thunder and lightning outside. How long have you been here in town?
Let me calculate briefly here. 17 years, so I'm a native.
Yeah, I'm coming up on 20.
Wow. You win.
Yeah. And how... tell me, when you moved here, you're obviously a huge fan of music. You can hear it in your song choices. Tell me about you as a listener, and then tell me how that transitioned into you being a performer.
Well, I guess. Well, how far back should we go? We'll go back to Ricky Nelson, I guess, because I listened to his records and loved the guitar on there, and was disappointed a little bit later to learn that was not really Ricky playing, but he had some really good rockabilly guitar people. I never have come anywhere near playing like that, but I was just one of those people who heard music, and it was just obvious that I was going to have to try to participate in it somehow. So I started nagging my grandfather for a guitar. He had been a band leader in the 20s, and he said he would go halves with me, if I earned half the price of a guitar. It was some kind of Gibson, and I think I was 12. So I played starting from when I was 12, but I never played in public until I came here, really just about 10 years ago, I think, and started playing at open mics. And I just play things that I try to learn songs that I like, and that's what I play.
Yeah, your song selection is unbelievable, and not only are the song selection that you draw from is so insightful and so how can I say
weird,
well cultivated. They're like gems that a lot of people should know, and maybe don't. Whether it's John Hyatt or Emmylou Harris or, if I had a list
Ambrosia
of...
Parsley. I play a couple of Ambrosia Parsley songs, and I'm going to try to play a Richard Thompson song here, which is a fool's errand for anyone to try to do. But I love it, so I'm going to do it.
You seem to play songwriter. Folks that musicians listen to and admire in regards to their songcraft and the effort that they take above and beyond usual, what we hear, either usual rock and roll or usual pop, in regards to lyrics and songcraft and composition. It's like people that kind of push themselves a little bit.
I'm smiling because I was walking around my garden today and I got earwormed by a passing car. It was that song, I'm going to ride my horse into town. Old Town Road, is that what it's called? That is apparently a great big hit right now. And
the antique shop?
I don't even know who it's by. I just know it's...
Is it country or...
I think it's pop with a country kind of flavor, but apparently it's all over the airwaves now. I keep hearing about it.
And you're trying to get it
I wish
out
I
of
could,
your head?
Well, yeah, but it's wandered away since then, or I would sing you that line. It's just... But, yeah, I do. I don't write songs myself. I haven't written any yet. I have books full of little notes like, this would be a good line in a song. But so I just play songs I like, I guess.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. And Marko, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. My first time seeing you was probably, a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And you came back into town. Where'd you come back from? I heard it was Austin. Is that right?
This time around, it was New Mexico.
New Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have traveled all over the country, it sounds like. You've lived in Alaska?
I grew up in Alaska.
You grew up in Alaska. Okay. And have you spent time in Austin? Or
I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went down there to start a band. I was also working at a fracking ranch near the Mexican border.
Oh, wow.
So I lived in Austin 2 weeks on, and I would go work on a ranch 2 weeks off. I had a band there. I took the band name when we broke up there, and they started a new band there called Gasoline Boots. My new band is King Joe, which I have here now in Prescott.
Excellent, excellent. And so you'd been to Prescott before this time. When was the last time that you were here in Prescott?
Okay, I arrived in April 15th of 2016.
Okay, so about 3 years ago now, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and there's something about this town that
I've been in and out a lot. I had to think for a second.
Yeah. So, what is it about Prescott that you're drawn to?
I have met some of the most influential people in my life here.
Wow.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Right now as we speak.
Wow. Fantastic.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, so there are some very good people here.
Yeah.
What I found moving here about 20 years ago is I moved here from the industry, from the Bay Area, and I came here to raise my daughter and get out of the industry and get off of the beaten track and find a place that was, safe to raise a child and take care of my mom.
Nice.
And I started wandering around to a place called Coyote Joe's when it used to be open, and now it's something else. And there was a singer-songwriter night that was hosted by a gentleman named Michael Lewis many, many years ago, almost 20 years ago. And I was enamored by the songwriters and the talent here. I thought I was just in this little town of 40,000 people, and suddenly there's just this wealth of talent that I'm seeing. And
There's a lot of great artists here.
Yeah, I was so overwhelmed by it.
And it's a community. It's a musical community, and I've never had that before. And that is why I'm playing music in public as much as I am, which isn't a lot, but it's more than it just makes me laugh that at this point in my life this happens. It's because of the musical community.
Because you feel supported.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we love you.
Oh, shucks. I love you too, man.
And we love you too, Marko.
I love you too, Marko.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. And so I started, the more that I got out and the more that I went out to see live entertainment, especially singer-songwriters, especially acoustic music, I was just incredibly taken by the talent here. I was just absolutely floored. And I felt compelled to share that with the place that I had come from, which was still very much in support of acoustic singer-songwriters, acoustic music, especially north of the Golden Gate Bridge, Marin County, Sonoma County, which is where we spend most of our time on the tour. And the radio stations up there still put us on the air. The newspapers will still write a little article about us, and it's not like the machine, the entertainment machine. It still feels like it's got heart there, and it's got appreciation and a musical community as well. So we're sharing our musical community with theirs, and I feel that it's akin to each other.
That's cool.
So Marko, now let's talk about music.
Sure.
Were you a big fan first, and then you picked it up?
Yeah, I used to jam out in my room listening to Jimi Hendrix and Nirvana, two of my big bands. A lot of 90s music. I even listened to a little rap for a while. My mom listened to a lot of 60s music. So Joni Mitchell, Joan Baez, Judy Collins, mostly female artists. That was it. Just Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA.
And so with your current songcraft, where do you think your influences are drawn from, now as you're writing, or even?
Oh, I should have mentioned Bob Dylan.
There's a big one, yeah.
Like I don't know, 1/4 of my set is usually Bob Dylan. So
yeah,
I do a lot of his covers. And as a songwriter, he really inspired me. Just as like a guy with his guitar, who would go out there and just be himself, and he would talk like him, and that's what he did,
Yeah, and that's why I was in bands as well, and I was in the industry, and what I found is that what I was looking for mostly was for people that could write their own music, sing their own music, perform their own music, and when you heard them by themselves with their instrument, playing their songs, to me that was the proof in the pudding. Is that
that's a lot of things you got to have together, and for some people it just comes very naturally. I mean, not all the time. My songwriting doesn't come all the time. I get spurts, but these days I'm always working. I'm always playing. So.
And I understand that you're a painter also. Is that what you would think of yourself primarily as a painter?
I drew before I played the guitar.
Yeah. But
used to draw.
I know it's hard to say when you're an artist, you're an artist. So things bleed into each other, whether it's cooking or...
You choose to express yourself or whatnot in a external way, maybe on the guitar or on a painting.
Right.
Yeah. I would like to step in and testify because I own a Marko Donnelly, and he...
One of my favorites, actually.
Yeah, and one of my favorites, obviously. But he works with colored pencils, and what he produces is not like anything else I've ever seen. It's geometrical, but that does not begin to say enough about what it is. So I hope you'll be having a show again sometime
soon at the Raven. Yeah.
Good, excellent.
In December.
So people who are listening to this and who go into the Raven should stop by and look at Marko's stuff. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, that is. I look forward to that because I haven't seen any of your art, but I'm really excited to.
It's a lot of fun to make that stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, let's stop talking and start playing a little bit of music. Okay. Ladies first.
Well, actually, I'd like to start with an a cappella song. Shall I just start going with it? All right. This is a song that I like to open with when I'm singing open mics. because it does a vocal check and warms my voice up. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm in the right key. I need a truck to haul my pain. I need a truck just to haul around my name. I need a truck to haul all the women's from my bed. And I need a truck to haul my body when I'm dead. I need a truck to haul my guns to town. I need a truck to haul my bad thoughts around. I need a truck to haul my Percodan and gin. And I need a truck to haul all my trucks in. That was I Need a Truck by Warren Zevon. Two-faced love, make me doubt my mind. Two-faced love, leave me paralyzed. Two-faced love, I pace the moon room at night. Why can't I get you off my mind? Oh, I try to dull my feelings down in every bar in every town. But it's your eyes follow me around. Why can't I get you off my mind? Face the music, face the facts, different sides of different tracks. Burn my feet on holy ground, then I helter-skelter down, confused from being used. Two-faced love, two-faced love, feels so wrong it must be right. Two-faced love, two-faced love, why can't I get you off my mind? Oh, I don't like your thin skin, and I don't like the places you've been. I don't like the mood that you're in. Why can't I get you off my mind? If I read the signals right, I might be your fool tonight. Pardon my naive caress, tenderfoot tenderness, uncouth to tell the truth. Two-faced love, two-faced love, feels so wrong it must be right. Two-faced love, two-faced love, why can't I get you off my mind? Oh, you don't make my blood run cold, and you don't fit my jelly mold. Don't come up for air when you're digging for gold. Why can't I get you off my mind? Why can't I get you off my mind? Feels so wrong, it must be right. Feels so wrong, it must be right. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I didn't know you could hear that.
This song is called Virginia, about a girl named Jenny. Jenny, hello dear, neither far nor am I near. I speak to you in a gentle gust of wind. Would you take me to your homeland, teach me how to fly? Take me to a river that flows behind your eyes. I long to plunge head first, mend my broken wing. I long to feel your heartbeat, I long to hear you sing. Time again I bear it deep inside my mind. Waves of tiny violins, man, the hope I left behind. Ooh, the words I wish to speak to you, a typhoon in my chest. A light as soft as your two lips, your cheek against my breast. Unearthed and bare, I'm naked, babe, weak, I have grown strong. Enough to say, enough to play, a prayer, a word. A song, a genial, a golden drum, my heartbeat. Ba-rum-bum-bum-bum. Your eyes aflame with the blackened sun, it warmed my soul. Ba-rum-bum-bum. Yeah, no one sees you, Jenny, just quite like I do. And for that I'm glad, cause every man would be in love with you. I walk amidst the flowers in the valley of your arms. You took my breath and you held it, and you returned it to me warm. Man, imagine we was just trees.
So we are back. That was Miss Candace McNulty performing and Mr. Marko Donnelly performing. If you haven't heard either of them before, now you have. So come on down on Friday, October 20th here to Mark's Beer Garden between 6 and 9 p.m. and you can see them each play 2 half-hour sets along with myself. So it's a 3-hour show. We each do 2 half hours, and it's continuous acoustic, beautiful music. So Friday the 20th, come on down to Mark's Beer Garden. All right, Candace. One thing I always ask folks about, being that this is a podcast, is you had mentioned a little bit about some of the music that you listened to when you were growing up. Were there any radio stations that you used to listen to when you were growing up? So these days, people ingest music either through Apple Music or Sirius XM or
Pandora in my case, yeah.
And so there was a time in history of music when people used to go and buy 45s, buy albums.
And I am of that vintage. It's true.
Buy CDs eventually. I mean, before CDs there were cassette tapes, and before cassette tapes there were
I have boxes
eight-track
and
tapes,
boxes.
right? So in that lineage there that I just spoke of, I found out about music through AM radio back in the day. There was a station I used to listen to called KHJ back in Los Angeles, and they played like 10cc and Ambrosia and Hall & Oates and just a lot of great, I guess they called it pop back then, but to me it was just great songs, great Andrew Gold, songs you don't really hear much anymore, but you can search it out. Was there a station that you used to listen to when you were growing up?
KFWB, Channel 98.
I know that.
Yes, I know you do. I know you do. It was still lingering on into your era.
Yeah, my dad listened to that every single morning. Every single morning.
Well, and I don't know whether the format had changed by the time your dad was listening to it, but it was all the new 45s, all the new rock and roll hits. You know, the Big Bopper and Buddy Holly and the Everly Brothers and on and on and on. And there were other ones. KRLA was another one. And it made the transition into the 60s, and that's kind of when I left, is in the 70s. But I think it was kind of carrying on after that. But in the early 70s in Boston, that was when they had what they called album rock. stations. And they played it when you would wait for whoever to come out with a new album. And I remember them playing, now I'm not going to be able to remember which one it was. It may have been Exile on Main Street, a Rolling Stones release. And they played the album, and I think that one was 2 LPs. They played it continuously. And they would do a side without a commercial break. Maybe they would even do 2 sides. They would play them in the order in which the artist put them on there. You know, then after that, people were making mixtapes, and then they were doing it their own way. But if somebody wanted those songs to appear in a sequence, they played them that way on the radio, and that was a big deal. I was in LA briefly in early '74, and I didn't find radio that I liked there at that time. We were there for about 6 months, I think. But yeah, that's right. That's how it was done.
Back in my day, Sonny, that's how we did it.
Freeform FM. That's what they used to call that. There's a DJ that I talk a lot about on this show named Jim Ladd. And Jim Ladd, at the time that you might have been there, he was on KMET and then eventually KLOS. And he played Freeform FM, album rock to his pleasure, whatever he chose, and he did it in themes. And now he's on Sirius XM, and I listen to him there now.
He made the transition.
Yeah, he certainly did. Marko, same question. When you were growing up, how were you first introduced to music? Was it by listening to music on the radio, or was it because people in the family were playing music?
Yep, we had cassettes.
Oh, okay.
And I remember when CDs came out.
Yeah.
We had a CD/cassette player.
Did you ever listen to much radio?
98.1 The Wolf. These 2 guys, Glenn and Jerry, in Fairbanks. You get to see them on the weekends or at the fair, you know, so we all knew who the news guys were.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It was a small town, too.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you mentioned a little bit about the music that you listened to in the 90s, Nirvana and...
Yeah.
Do you cover any Nirvana, Marko?
What's that?
Do you cover any Nirvana?
No, but I was thinking of one the other day. I was humming it down the road. And
Do you remember which one?
I may just do it, you know? I go through spurts of, like, I might do this. I'm thinking of covering standing outside a phone booth with a broken phone booth with Money in My Pocket by Primitive Radio Gods. It's a really great song.
Cool.
Have you ever heard that?
No, it sounds good.
Oh, gosh, it's a great song. Doo-doo. Yeah. So a lot of songs out of the 90s. I grew up in the 90s, so Beck, Soundgarden, all that kind of stuff was very popular.
And the stuff that you play, as you heard here, ladies and gentlemen, just a moment ago, you don't hear any of that in your own music that you play. I hear blues, I hear folk, I hear...
What's your whole life comes out in your music?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the day.
Yeah, you're right. And were you, Candace, when did you become comfortable? And I know that it might not be yet.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, before we go there, I just want to say I should give a shout out to KCRW out of Santa Monica, because I listened to that in the 90s when I was going to grad school and being divorced and raising children and working and things like that. And that's where I heard people like Beck and, just good music out of the 90s.
A public station out of Santa Monica,
it's
Community
radio,
College. My alma mater.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Cool. That's nice. Yeah, it's a good station.
Yeah.
Harry Shearer was on there and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As to comfortable, I don't know that I will ever get comfortable performing in public in any way, shape, or form, ever.
How about your voice? How about being comfortable with your singing voice?
It has a few good days every now and then. It takes about an hour to work the tarnish off it.
Candace does some of my favorite obscure covers.
Oh,
I don't know some of them. They're that obscure.
I stand before her when I watch you perform, and I am just absolutely astonished by your song choices. They are song choices that I, as an audiophile, know and love, but they are song choices that I don't think see the light of day very often, and you bring them to light.
Well, thank you. And we were talking about covers a little while ago, and my belief is that you shouldn't do a cover unless you have really something to add to that song. And I don't think I do that, but I think Marko does. That's one of the things that I like about.
I disagree. Not that I don't do it, but
I
you don't
disagree.
do it.
Well, I really like what you write as well. So
Well, now we know
I
that
think it's
Candace
great.
is very humble, defacing, and
also that I'm a Marko Donnelly fan. There's that.
Well, I hope by the end of our show on Friday night, the 20th, that you, as Marko and I watch you perform after our sets, and in admiration, feel more comfortable by your musical community, that all of the folks that love and support you here, like some of the great songwriters here, like Dave Whitley, and gosh, we could go on and on and on.
Gary Ukura, we
Gary
should not
Ukura, yes.
proceed without mentioning Gary. Gary Ukura is really the reason that I perform in public.
Eucharist.
Willie? Eucharist.
Yeah.
The Eucharistas are a group of people in this
Eucharistas,
town.
yes.
Fear the visor, man. Fear the visor.
Whenever I mention his name, he walks in. It scares me.
Okay, say it again.
That's kind of scary.
It's like a
But he's the
leprechaun
one. He's the one who I got off stage from at an open mic at Coyote Joe's, and this would be 10 years ago. And Gary was standing there kind of listening. He said, "Do you want a drummer?" So he, I fell over laughing at that comment, and enjoyed falling over laughing again and again, as I would say to my family, "Well, my drummer says." But he and I have a duo called the Roadside Diners, and we sing harmony together. And he is a musical workman. He is dedicated, and he's also a great singer-songwriter. And he's got that thing on Wednesday at the Birdcage, if I can mention that. So
I
just
enjoy
thought
Gary's music.
Yeah, Gary is a big fan of the Candace. And has been for quite a long time, for the same reason that we all are. Your song choices are astonishing.
Well, thank you.
They don't see the light of day very often, and you bring light to songs that deserve the recognition. Again, I believe that they are songwriters' songs. It's like those only a
some of the
true
songs-
songwriter
some of the
would
songs-
appreciate many of the songs that you play, because the people that you, the performers that you showcase in your sets, are performers that are admired by other musicians in the industry.
Well, and that's a good point, because I like to say I am a cover band, because some of the songs I do are like Bonnie Raitt's version of a Bob Dylan song. I've got a Sean Colvin version of a Bruce Springsteen song that I'm going to bust out somewhere along the line.
I have a Todd Snyder version of Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
You do? Is that I didn't know that was Todd
I like to
Todd
do that
Snyder's.
too. I like
Yeah.
to do that too.
Right. And you, now, am I correct, Matt, that you are a Tom Waits fan?
Hold On, your version of Hold On.
Oh, thank you. Have you heard his version of Time? It's Time. Yeah, that'd be great.
Good song.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. So there you have it. If you like what other people do, you have to start liking what you do.
Well, thank you.
Sure. All right, Marko.
Yes.
Let's get
Okay,
Marko up.
so I hear some influences in you. Did that just kind of pop out? Like when you started playing, did the blues in you just pop out, or the way that
My father was a blues musician.
Okay.
He played with Fenton Robinson back in the 70s. He was a very good artist in
Okay.
Chicago. He also sat him a Buddy Guy and Junior Wells and people like that.
Wow.
So the blues was a thing for me. I didn't grow up with my dad, but I was fascinated with his musical career. So I was like, well, I could do that. I got a guitar when I was 16 and started playing the guitar. And I was all right when I started. I could play some chords, and yeah, it was fun. So I just kept doing it. Left it for 10 years at one time. 19 to 29, I didn't play guitar, but mainly a blues and all that other stuff I was telling you before, influence from when I was a kid. Does that answer your question, or?
Oh, the song that we're hearing now?
Oh, this one?
Oh, no. I didn't hear what you said. What'd you just say?
I asked, did that answer your question?
Oh, yes, it did. I'm so sorry.
I was trying to make sure.
I'm getting old myself.
Okay,
What did you say there, Sean?
Yeah.
Honey,
it all
it
out.
gets worse.
Oh, blues. I do have heavy blues influence, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of foot stomping blues.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
Folk blues.
roots
folk
blues.
Yeah, roots folk. Yeah.
With element of techno. I used to go to raves as a kid and dance my ass off. I'm sorry. Beep, late beep.
I have some very cute pictures of you dancing your booty off with some children at Coyote Joe's.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I
think-
still like to get out and dance now and
Yeah.
then.
So it sounds like, I love dancing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, only recently have I not been too embarrassed by showing myself dancing. But it sounds like you were comfortable with your voice right off the bat. That when you first start singing?
No. I actually started playing music live on stage in 2015.
Okay, so about
Wow.
Yeah, and I
4
was so
years ago.
scared. I was like, I'd never done it before. I was
Was
shaking.
that here?
Austin.
Austin,
Did my
okay.
first open mic there, and made a band and tried to do everything. So
Gasoline boots, you said?
what's that?
Gasoline boots?
Oh, we were King Joe in Austin.
Joe by then.
So
Okay.
we moved the band here, King Joe. But yeah,
So it did, and then after doing the open mic, did it take a while for you to feel comfortable with your stage presence and your voice?
yeah, I'm good on stage. You know,
Yes,
you get me,
yes, you are.
You get me in a spotlight. I start
will
talking.
endorse that, yes.
Whatever I was doing, I'm just like, oh. But that's what I say. You know, forget about it. I'm coming. You know, here I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm here. Yeah.
Strangely enough, I started a rock band back in the early '90s, and it was a great band. You can find them on YouTube these days.
Called?
They were called Common Ground. We had to change our name because there was a more successful Common Ground.
And they had lawyers.
Then we became Edgar, and there was no one in the band named Edgar, so we thought that was clever. But
That is clever.
I tried to be a front man. I tried to have that voice. And I listen to my recordings now, and I listen to even the recordings that I had as a solo artist, and I realized that my voice was never as bad as I thought it was. But for me, in my mind, to be comfortable with the way that I sounded when I opened my voice, really is, for me personally, has only happened. I'm 55 now. I would say it's only happened in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And I know
good
that's
for
strange.
you.
And people have complimented me about my voice over the years.
Yes.
But whether or not I own that or whether or not I accepted that, I can honestly say that I didn't. And now when I sing, I feel my soul is connected to my voice. I feel very comfortable in my own skin. I feel very comfortable. So
That's great.
it's a good question to ask performers. You know, when we get to a point where we're not having to push ourselves and try so damn hard to get the sound that's in our head out there
That's the trouble.
in the audience or over the sound system. It takes a while. It takes a while for us to feel what other people are hearing and to accept that we're actually owning it.
It,
you know.
it is something, yeah.
All right. Well, I've talked enough. Let's play a couple more songs.
This one's called The Solstice. Yeah, wrote this in Alaska. And now did the solstice pass, I got nothing left to be owed. I'll meander down south with the painters and poets to the sunshine which I have once known. Well, the faces around me keep changing, like the seasons of flowers in bloom. And the ones that I've met, and those I've not quite yet, I'm gonna paint them a colorful tune. And I'm packing my bag in the morning. It's just one girl I must see. It was a pleasure to meet you. I bid you farewell. It's Prescott, you'll find me. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, nice to know some people are still thinking. The truth is that I do the same. I got a pawn set up and a game to blame for the shame I have covered in fame. Thus it is that I'm moving. I got my guitar in my hand. I'm gonna turn in my gear. I think I'll drink a cold beer. I'm gonna play in a rock and roll band. I got me one foot in my Volvo, and my other foot is stuck in the door. Oh, your money's nice, I won't think twice, 80 below. And I'm bored. La, 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 la. That's right. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. La, la, da, da, da. Hey, well, man, we're gonna miss you. Brother, I'll miss you too. I thought the whole thing through, my friend, and it's quite clear what I must do. For the winds of change keep blowing, and they have kicked up the dust of my mind. Some memories I will take with me. I'll leave the rest behind. Yeah, goodbye, my bitter darkness. Bye, my frozen cell. Oh, my sanity, it ain't up for grabs. My soul, I shall not sell. Thanks.
Flame. He might get burned, but he's in the game. And once he's in, he can't go back. He'll beat his wings till he burns them black. No, the moth don't care when he sees the flame. No, the moth don't care when he sees the flame. The moth don't care if the flame is real, 'cause moth believes in a sweetheart deal. And nothing fuels a good flirtation like need and anger and desperation. No, the moth don't care if the flame is real. No, the moth don't care if the flame is real. So come on, let's go, ready or not. 'Cause there's a flame I know that's hotter than hot. And with a fuse that's so terribly shot away. the flame burns low. 'Cause moth believes in an afterglow, and flames are never doused completely. All you really need is a love of heat. No, the moth don't care if the flame burns low. No, the moth don't care if the flame burns low. So come on, let's go, ready or not. 'Cause there's a flame I know that's hotter than hot, and with a fuse that's so thoroughly shot. Ooh. So come on, let's go, ready or not. 'Cause there's a flame I know that's hotter than hot, and with a fuse that's so thoroughly shot away.
Thank you. That's a song by Amy Mann.
We are back after two more fantastic performances. Thank you, Candace. McNulty.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for asking me. And I did want to say thanks to Mark, because Mark's Beer Garden is wonderful, and I love what he's done here. And it's one more great venue for musicians, and he's supporting musicians, and he's smoking meat. I mean, what's not to like?
Musicians and smoke meat. Come on, that's a great. That actually is Austin. That's
right.
This
is Prescott is the next Austin, and I hope it doesn't go the way Austin is, because Austin is like over. It's over.
Well, it's very
overblown.
expensive there.
They're
now,
smoking too much meat down there.
They're smoking too
That's
much
what
meat.
it is.
Smoking too much something else, probably. All right, and thank you, Mr. Marko Donnelly.
You're welcome.
Is there any place that people can see you play other than this Friday, the 20th?
This Friday,
here
I'm
at
gonna
sound
be
like a
here.
girl because
Right.
you said
At
thank
Mark's
you,
Beer
Marko.
Garden from 6 to
So-
9 p.m.
Marko, what I was wondering is, are you playing with Troy again anytime soon? Do you have any gigs lined up?
Oh God! Thank you for reminding me, because I forgot to text Sean. I needed that. I'm supposed to be playing here in the upcoming months. They have a lot of openings, Thursday openings.
Cool.
So at Mark's Beer Garden.
Great.
Troy and I-
Beautiful.
yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad we tied Mark
to be
into that
introduced.
question.
And there's an open mic here on Tuesday nights run by Aaron Aragon.
Oh, amazing.
And all kinds of cool people turn up there.
Yeah.
So for
My
music
favorite open
aficionados,
mic.
come here.
Undoubtedly, yeah. Very good. And
Can
is
I,
there
can I-
any place people can hear your music?
Just read my mind.
Do it.
Yeah, because I had it in my head. I didn't want to forget it. So, okay. Yeah, BKD's Backyard Joint in Phoenix, or Chandler. We'll be playing, I have a trio there, Shawnee Davis, Troy Skilport, and myself. We'll be playing on the 26th of October.
Troy on keys and Shawnee on drums.
Shawnee on drums, yeah. First time playing together as a trio, so
That's beautiful.
it should be fun.
Yeah.
And
Is there any place in Webland that people can hear your music or buy your art? Even more importantly,
yes,
possibly.
in Webland, I'll be playing November 2nd at the Back Alley Wine Bar with Zach Mendenhall, a stand-up bass player.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. I've played with
Yeah.
him before, and we opened up a door to something that we didn't even know was there. So it was cool. Had a lot of fun. And then I'll also be at Superstition Meadery December 7th.
Beautiful. Is that with Troy?
Is that solo?
I cut it. Yeah, it's solo
Okay.
All right.
as of now.
And when
We
I
will be
said
there.
Webland, I meant the internet. Or is
Oh,
it,
I thought you were calling Prescott Webland. I was like, I don't know why he's doing that.
Spider webs. You've got
I'll
a lot of
roll with
spiders here.
Is there any place that people can buy your art or see your art or buy your music or listen to your music on the internet?
On the internet. Nope, got to contact me
Facebook?
personally.
Okay.
But I am on
Hunt him
Facebook.
down.
I have Marko's music
Okay.
Marko's music is on Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, not music. Excuse me, I missaid that. I misspoke that. Marko, the art of Marko Donnelly.
Oh, the art of Marko Donnelly.
Yeah, on
Okay.
Facebook.
On Facebook.
You can see a lot of my work there.
Okay.
I'm doing mainly commissions
Links.
now
There will
and
be
getting
links.
ready for a show at the Raven in December. So
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's what I'm up to
Yeah,
right now.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Okay, and you can hear this podcast. This podcast will probably be up and running in a few days to tomorrow. So probably by Monday, the 16th of September, you can go to milehighshow.com. Check out Matt Santos at milehighshow.com as well, and his amazing podcast. And thank you to the both of you. My name is Jim Sobo. You can go check out the Howling Coyote Tour at www.howlingcoyotetour.com. And we'll see you guys down here this Friday, the 20th of September at Mark's Beer Garden between 6 and 9 p.m. featuring Miss Candace McNulty and Mr. Marko Donnelly. It's going to be a great show. Come on down.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for what you do for music. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It
I appreciate
truly,
it, man.
honestly is, genuinely. All right. Good night, everybody.
The truth is that I do the same. I got a pawn set up and a game to blame for the shame I have covered in fame. Thus it is that I'm moving. I got my guitar in my hand. I'm gonna turn in my gear. I think I'll drink a cold beer. I'm gonna play in a rock and roll band. I got me one foot in my Volvo, and my other foot is stuck in the door. Oh, your money's nice, I won't think twice, 80 below.